the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox back with another great episode of Nashville 2, where we tell your story. And today, my special guest is John Taylor of Minuteman Press here in Nashville. You can find them. Their website is nashvilleprinting.com. Did I get that right, John?
You did.
Oh, awesome. And hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, you've owned Minuteman Press in Nashville since, was it 2014?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So did you have a background in printing, or tell us how that came about?
I do have a background in printing. When I was in college, I learned to print just down the street from us on Spence Lane. And as my career developed, I was blessed enough to get to work with an international company manufacturing playing cards, which gave me a brand new perspective on quality control, manufacturing processes. The Europeans are phenomenal at their controls. So I got to study at their feet for a few years and work internationally, and then brought that back here to what was Minuteman Press as we knew it then.
Wow. And was that Cartamundi by chance?
It was.
Okay. So I'm a gamer, so Magic the Gathering and Cartamundi, I mean, man,
That's right.
And we didn't plan this, right? We didn't know this about each other before we got into this, but I would say that most people do not know Cartamundi. Would that be true? I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
It is. It's Cartamundi.
Yep.
And that means cards of the world in Flemish.
Oh, well, there you go.
That we printed for everyone from Mattel and Hasbro for Uno and Skippo and games like that to trading cards,
right?
Wizards of the Coast, Pokemon, and all the rest of the gaming cards. So, but what it did, obviously, any marked card in a deck is a marked card. So quality standards are enormously high for those.
Yeah.
And it gave me a new perspective
on the quality that you bring to your product. And so I first came across you guys when I needed some flyers printed in a hurry. I had moved to Nashville, bought a business, hadn't really spent the time looking around, and was just thinking, oh, I'm in a new city. Like, I don't have a printer, right? And so I'd met through one of your sales reps, and we were able to you guys took care of me really good. And the quality was impressive, I have to tell you, John, which is why I reached out to you to be on the podcast. So just so you know, so folks, I can tell you I've used their service, and the quality is outstanding. And also your team that you have put together. How many employees do you have, John, at your facilities?
23.
23. And you guys can do anything from your basic flyer, business card, generic stuff up to, I think I read somewhere that you had now a vehicle wrap warehouse as well, and do vehicle graphics. Is that true?
We do. If it's printed, we likely do it. And because I'm a control freak and have that quality bent, we really want to do it in-house, right? The more we outsource, the bigger the variables. And so when we do it in-house, we bring these services in-house, not to be a jack of all trades, but master of none. But we master our trade, quality in printing. And then we expanded over the years into mailing, into vehicle graphics and signs. And just last year in 2021, we bought a digital advertising agency, The Artist Evolution. So the only missing piece was digital advertising, SEO, pay-per-clicks, things like that. And recruitment, even a lot of things come out of that space. So now we've closed the loop and are missing nothing. If you brand it, we do it.
Well, and the great thing about that, I think, for business owners is that we try to be jack of all trades in a small business because we were out of money, right? Like, we got tight money, and having somebody that we can go to that we trust and is reliable enables us to feel comfortable in the services that they provide. Do you find that most clients sort of trickle with one or two things, and then as they realize how much you do and the quality that they've received, that continues to expand what they get from you? Without
a doubt. It's the definition of how we've grown is that what you just described.
Right. And now, were you from Nashville originally? Were you Nashville native, or are you in import?
Yes, sir. I am one of the few. I
Okay.
was indeed imported, but I was only about 2 weeks old when my parents moved here from South Carolina.
I
So
think that qualifies. I think you're good.
it
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
here the whole time.
Right. And so with working for Cartamundi and doing that sort of stuff, when you saw the opportunity for Minuteman Press, which I think is a franchise, is that correct?
It is.
When you saw that opportunity, what made you decide that, yep, this is what I need to do?
Well, that's an interesting question. Probably not going to answer it like you might have expected. I actually worked with my partner, Bruce Vi. I worked for him for years. Great guy, one of my business heroes, understands very, very well how to run a business. And so we teamed up in 2002 and worked together wonderfully for a long time. But my eyes were on the skies. What's next? What can we take over? And as he got a little older, he was ready to retire. So we were parting ways, and he said, "Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we do this?" And I said, "Wait a minute, I don't want a franchise. What do you want me to do? Teach them to print? I've been printing since I was 18. I don't need the franchise." But I'll stand corrected publicly now. I'll stand corrected. Minuteman's been fabulous. They do a great job. Wonderful family-run business. 1,000 locations around the world, 5 different countries, 4 different continents. So great organization, absolutely outstanding. Wonderful to work with them.
Yeah, and I'd heard the name. I don't know. Are they in Australia? I'm not sure.
They are.
Yeah, I thought growing up that we might have used Minuteman Press back in the day. I've had businesses since I was 15, so but I knew the name, and then I got over here and I was in Wichita for 30 years, and I used Minuteman Press on a regular basis in Wichita, and always had great service. So I can attest to what you're saying about the quality of the company. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that's what it is, the quality, the culture of the company, what they do. But Minuteman Press, a lot of us do have an idea of what Minuteman Press means. And Minuteman Press, for us, the typical Minuteman Press fits in a small corner of our shop. Right. So we've expanded so far out beyond what you might know, thus the birth of NashvillePrinting.com and the girth of it.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, for me, I remember using Minuteman Press in Wichita, and it was just for quick copies for a while. So it's just, man, I'm doing a trade show and I need some copies, and the quality's good and the pace is fast, and I can get that done, which is fine. But it led me going on to banner graphics and pop-up stands and just different things that I got into. So what does an ideal client look like for you, John?
An ideal client for us is typically a large corporation that has multiple locations, sometimes around the state, around the city, oftentimes around the nation or around the globe. In the last few years, we've installed large graphics to do corporate branding for big companies such as Cytel or Capital One or Equifax or Sony. And we installed everywhere from Southern Canada to Bogota, Colombia. And we actually go there and take our installers with us, because it's that quality, that control freak thing again, right? It's got to be right when it's done. And I think that's why those folks will carry us around at least this hemisphere so far. We'll see about the Eastern Hemisphere later.
Right. There you go. Well, Bogota would be pretty close, wouldn't it? Bogota, Colombia. I guess it's still Northern Hemisphere, isn't it?
It is Northern.
Yeah, just. So when you say you go and install, now this isn't something I was thinking about. I was thinking about all the printing that I use as a small business owner, but what sort of things are you going down to Bogota to install?
That would be corporate branding. So a client will come to us and say that they have a new space going up or they're renovating, and the thing is being gutted and they really want to brand it. In Cytel's case, it was for their call center clients. In cases around town, it's they're moving into a new space and need to brand it top to bottom. So we'll do wall wraps, signs, interior branding, just about everything. Vinyl goes a long way, is inexpensive, and makes a big, big impact on that experience.
Right.
And people have an experience when they walk in a building, right? It makes a difference. If I'm an employee, I want a certain level of messaging going this way. And if I'm a client, I want a certain level of messaging going that way. And we understand how that works.
Yeah, exactly. And it was inexpensive way for us. I have another business that's a coffee machine repair business, and we built a training room in a warehouse. and added a lot of frosted glass. Well, of course, the frosted glass was ridiculously expensive. So it was really inexpensive to add frosted vinyl. Is that how you call it? What do you call is it frosted? I don't know. But it made the offices and the training room look like we'd had expensive frosted glass, but it was a fraction of the price and it looked perfect.
That's right. Most of what you see out there isn't really frosted glass. It's vinyl of some sort.
Yeah, it's just amazing because we can be tricked all the time. The quality of so much printing and stuff is so good. And you guys have pretty quick turnover too, so that's amazing. What for our viewers and listeners out there that are maybe thinking of the smaller Minuteman Press, like you said, the corner of the business sort of thing, and you guys have expanded into so many other things. What should my viewers and listeners know about you guys?
That's a good question.
I stumped him, folks.
In a word, resourcefulness. One of my favorite things is when those big challenges come. And it can be, there's a mailer. We do in-house mailing. So it could be a mailer that has an incredible turnaround time. It's got to get out fast. And it's 150,000 pieces. And we're nimble enough and equipped here well enough to spread that work out among our shop and get it done. And so resourcefulness is the thing. The reason why we ended up in corporate branding at all was we were doing some large format printing for clients like that, and they appreciated that creative approach to whatever challenge they faced. So right. Before long, it morphed into us being that resource. So you call us for a quick job and we fill that Minuteman role and spit it out this afternoon for a trade show or expedite something for tomorrow morning that someone's not going to call me about until I get home.
Right.
You know, my office phone will ring to my cell phone. I answer it 24/7. And that's our culture here, right? We get it done. I'll share with you, since we're on that subject, this sits on my desk and was given to me by the wife of my previous owner. It's an easy button. Right. And she kindly painted 2 above easy, because when they hit me with a challenge in years past over my life, I would say too easy. Often it was a lie. Right. You know, now I needed to make it easy. Right. But that is. So when my staff and I work something out, that was easy. We hit the button and off we go. We're on the next one.
Right. It's like the Staples, the old-fashioned easy button, and you've added the word "to" on top of it. But I think what that conveys too is that you make it in your mind too easy, and then you find a way, like you said, resourcefulness. You find a way to adapt, to overcome. You know, it used to be 20 years ago, it was a paradigm shift, right? Now, since COVID, it's been pivot. And so you're able to take your clients' needs and pivot or have a paradigm shift with them to get what they need in a timely manner, and maybe in a way that they hadn't even thought about it. Do you have a client story for us? Maybe that they came in with a challenge that they thought was this, and you were able to show them, no, it's really this, and what you were able to do for them? Does one of those pop into your head?
My heavens, several hundred just flew through my head as we said that, right? That's our job. Yep. I'm sure I can find some of those. One of them might be Mexico or Colombia, right? They don't know exactly what they need. They know they need to accomplish this. We can work backward from a budget. We can work forward and give an organic quote. But in their case, they had what would have been a relatively slim budget and needed to pull off 2 buildings in the heart of Bogota. And it blew their minds that we could do it and fulfill it. Another quick example that comes is we had a cabinet manufacturer come to us for a trade show booth. Not your everyday trade show booth. They wanted to hang, I think it was 11 kitchens on this trade show booth. So we built a 1,200 square foot trade show booth with a strong frame that they could mount this to, and condensed it to 2 skids, and they popped it up and have used it since. So yeah, people come to us with a challenge, don't know the answer, but that's where we come in. Not your average printer, folks. That's what I'm saying right there. Not your average printer. So being able to go to John and his team and put forth your challenge or your need and have somebody work with you. I think sometimes business owners, they're afraid because of
of past experience that somebody's out to just take advantage of them. And I think, John, that's one of the things I found about doing research on your company, is that that's not the way you guys do it. You guys put your customer first, you solve their problem, and you do it for a fair and reasonable price in a timely manner. And I think it's important, because that, to me, stands you apart. There's a lot of good small business printers around town, right? I mean, let's be fair. There's
Absolutely.
a lot of hardworking individuals running print shops and do. In fact, I had a lady on a few weeks ago, and she's doing a great job in her wheelhouse, right? In what she does is great, and she's got some skills. But I think when you start to look at everything that you can pull together and what you can do on from the smaller scale, like for me, I just need the flyer printed and it came out excellent quality, to, like you said, the 1,200 square foot frame of a trade show booth that you can hang, what did you say, 12 kitchen setups on. That to me is mind expanding, right?
It was for us too.
Right.
We hadn't yet done that.
Right. So you push the too easy button, and then your people look at you and go, are you crazy, boss? Like, how are we going to get that done? I don't know, but we're going to do it, right? We're going to make it happen.
That's exactly right. It was going in the back of my head. I wasn't necessarily going to say it, but I can come into my management meeting and put my hands on the table and say, guys, I got an idea. And they all go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Because they know we're going that way, right? And
Right.
we're going to do it, and we're going to succeed, and we're going to kill it, and we're going to, make
Right.
something great.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now would be a good time for one of your hidden gems around Nashville. So when you're not working, which you and I both know, we're always working, we're always thinking about how we can help our customers or what we can provide. But when you are taking some time, what's one of your favorite things to do around the Nashville Metro Area?
Your question had gotten me when I had to ponder that one earlier. And the hidden part, there's a lot of things I enjoy about Nashville that everybody knows about.
Right.
But I'm a sailor. I love a sailboat more than just about anything.
Okay.
So HIYC, or Harbor Island Yacht Club in Old Hickory.
Oh, wow.
It's been called, it was given to me early as I was introduced to it, as the best kept secret in Nashville. And it is great.
Right.
Yacht Club can put that mental picture in your head. It's hardly that at all. It's mechanics and lawyers sailing boats and learning together and teamwork and all the fun stuff that sailing is. So if I have to choose a favorite, my hidden gem is Harbor Island Yacht Club. Okay.
Well, we need three, remember, is what we do on the show. So we've got one out of the way. And that's the thing that I've loved since I started this show. We're into the third season. I think we've got it planned out, all 10 episodes of the third season. So yours will be in the fourth season. And it's just amazing the things I am learning, because what might be visible to somebody else is hidden to somebody maybe that's new to Nashville. Like, we lived in Bowling Green for a year before we actually got moved to Nashville after I bought the business. And so my office was up in Goodlettsville. So I knew a little bit about Goodlettsville, a little bit about Hendersonville, a little bit about Gallatin, but I didn't have a clue about like Williamson County, like Franklin, and then down to Thompson Station, Spring Hill, and Columbia. And so I'm learning a lot of different things. Like, my favorite restaurant is one of my clients out in Dixon, Colton Steakhouse, right? And so like it's a little bit of a drive, but I love going out there. The atmosphere is great. And so these are things that I wouldn't find out about if either they weren't clients of mine or if I didn't have a guest like you that explained it. And so with the Harbor Island Yacht Club, do you have to be a member? Do they have like a restaurant and stuff as well as the sailing, or is it more focused on the actual sailing side of it?
The entire mission statement of Harbor Island Yacht Club is to perpetuate the sport of sailing. So no, there is not a restaurant. It's low key, and there's a big clubhouse and a fireplace and a wonderful place to hang out and have a party or be part of one of the events there. Super welcoming place. Anybody can get in touch with me if they want to go. But those people, when we have races or something, you're welcome onto the boat to go and race, right? Wow. It's about perpetuating sailing. I got chill bumps when I was saying that, because it's great. And we had, for years, had a real strong youth organization there called Sea Scouts, a branch of the Boy Scouts, where we teach children to do it. And it's, if you haven't done it, it's something you got to try.
Right. In the high school I went to up in Grafton, New South Wales, Australia, we Grafton is right on a big river in the north coast of New South Wales. And that was one of our sports that we could do on Wednesday afternoons was sailing. I always chose cricket because I'm a big cricket buff, but a lot of our guys went on and did sailing, and they had those really small sailboats that you would put just, I think, 2 people on, or maybe only one, but we had half a dozen or a dozen of those and you would see them out there every Wednesday afternoon. So you could sit on the balcony of one of the pubs that overlooked the river, and the kids were all out on the yachts, on the little sailboats out in the river. And it always looks awesome. Always just watching them and how they're throwing themselves around and the boat around and what they're doing is just fantastic. Without
a motor and speaking in a normal voice to the people.
Right.
It's been called the most exciting 10 miles an hour you'll ever do.
Right? I can see that.
So it's just good stuff.
Well, awesome. Well, hey, thanks for sharing that with it. I'm sure there's some people out there that had no idea that even existed in the Nashville area, Middle Tennessee. I might have to say, instead of Nashville Metro, I might just say Middle Tennessee. I think it covers basically the same area, but
right, it's Davidson County, so it's still right.
Okay, well, good. So tell me, John, if somebody was to come to you, is the best access to you guys through NashvillePrinting.com? Is that the best place for them to start?
Absolutely. We've got several outside salespeople, several inside customer service agents that are happy to help. So yeah, you can reach out through NashvillePrinting.com. You can call us. If you have met one of us, call us on our cell phone. There is no clock on how we can help. So
right,
we can answer.
And then do you have anything else that you would like to share or talk about on the show, or do we pretty much we can't cover all that you do, but if you've got any other stories for us, I always love a good printing story. My printing skills, I came up with the idea when I had a video shop to put a video cover on, because we kept losing our video rentals. And so I sold the spine and I sold the front cover and the back cover for advertising. And then I went to my local printer, and this is, I've got a barter business as well. And this is how I started bartering. I said, hey, would you give me a break on pricing if I came in and helped you print that? And he just looked at me. He's like, what do you know about printing? I said, I know I can work hard and I can be here at 10 o'clock at night when you're still working. I can bring you food from our fish and chip shop. He said, deal. So I came in, but it was back then, you'd set up all the typefaces and then you'd print you would shoot the plate, and you're doing this copy and paste, and you're actually cutting and pasting with a glue stick on the bromides, and then you're putting them back in. And so that's my background, right? You don't have to do any of that anymore. It's all digital, but we're in the dark room shooting film, shooting those plates and stuff. And so that's where I got started. But hey, when I did my video cover, I actually made some money doing that. So that was my introduction to printing. Printing has come a long way, and you've been involved since when? Since when have you been involved in the printing game?
1990.
Okay.
And in 1990, we were stripping film and pasting up and working in a dark room, and that evolution was remarkable, right? So by the early first decade in the 2000s, that was almost a thing of the past. But now even the digital work that has to happen should also be a digital thing of the past. So right. Even though it's gone digital, now the objective is to make it automatically happen. So
automatically happen. I like that.
That's right. And so in order for it to make it automatically happen, you need a portal. So even our small clients enjoy free portals here so that you can put the product on there. You can open up the product, type in the variable information, and get a brand new product in an instant proof, which goes immediately to my production team, speeding it up even faster. So now we're looking at the very next level of that. And then where that stops, digital picks up.
Right. And then also with the other side of it that you've picked up with the digital marketing agency, you guys are doing websites, are you doing funnels and that sort of thing? Are you doing landing pages, I would think, all of that?
Every bit of it. It's a super well-established agency. They've been around about 13 years. We bought the Nashville franchise of sorts, but it's just a market. So now we're active in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Atlanta, Madison Avenue, New York, and Nashville.
Wow.
And where we are, how we're building the Nashville version is it's Madison Avenue quality meets Southern charm. Right. So you can get all those full services with giant companies like outsourced CMOs or Domino's Pizza. We're doing enormous projects for a lot of people, from simple to full-blown e-commerce, and a lot of intelligent marketing that goes on nowadays in the background.
That's exciting. Okay, so tell me something else that you do around Nashville. I call them hidden gems because there's still plenty of people that don't know about them. But do you have a favorite place you like to eat, drink, hang out, go to church, go to movies, listen to music, anything like that?
Lots of them.
Okay. Well, give me two more and we'll call it good.
I had answered, I think probably the best one that I'll mention now is the Italian market out in West Nashville. I think it's on 45th Avenue, but the Italian market is one of the coolest little places that you'll get. And it's so far, it's right across, it's maybe 150, 200 feet from the interstate on I-40 at West Nashville, but you'd never know it was there.
Right. Yeah, I didn't. Yep.
They have an amazing little Italian market. You can go in and buy fresh prosciutto, is how they would say it, but we all know it as prosciutto. Or you can have a sit-down dinner with an amazing glass of wine, and it's just a super cool little place you'd never know about if you didn't hear about it.
Okay, cool. One more.
Local neighbor, Spence Lane, Lost Patty Irish Pub, sits tucked in the corner of a hotel at the corner of Spence Lane and Murfreesboro Road. Great little Irish pub, extremely authentic Irish pub in that the owner is, and best Reuben around, just the best one.
Okay, well, I'm there. I'm all about a good Reuben. Reuben, mulligan stew or Irish stew, depending on who you talk to, and maybe a shepherd's pie, maybe a fish and chips. I don't know. Maybe I get lucky and get all of them. Like I have to keep going back. I don't know. So you say Lost Patty?
Lost Patty, Paddy.
Right. Yeah. He's pretty famous. I know he's got a furniture brand named after him, Patio Furniture. Sorry. I got my own TikTok channel, nothing but dad jokes, and I hadn't chucked one in all day. So, although I got to tell you, I got to share with you my favorite dad joke of all time, and my viewers are already groaning because they hear about it on virtually every show. Do you hear about the Norwegian Navy putting barcodes on the sides of their warships? They might even come to you to get those printed, you know.
They might.
Did you hear about that? So when they come back to port, they can Scandinavian. Isn't that good? Like, I don't know who came up with that, but that's like my favorite of all time. So, hey, John, it's been a blast having you on the show. Let me wrap up by saying, folks, you're out there, whether you are a small business in the Middle Tennessee, Nashville area, or whether you're the guy that needs a good printer and you're part of a ginormous entity, you need to reach out to John Taylor and his team at Minuteman Press. They're not some little corner print shop. They can do it all. And I can vouch for their quality and the attitude, just like you've heard John talk about. John, did I leave anything out?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, great. And contact John through NashvillePrinting.com. Like he said, for the smaller businesses that need a portal and can design their stuff online, he's all set up to do that. But if you need a vehicle wrap, if you need 100 vehicle wraps, he can get it done. Viewers and listeners, thanks for listening. And if you've got somebody that should be on Nashville too, shoot me an email, shoot me a message. Let's find out about their story. Thanks for being on the show, John.
Thank you, I appreciate the time.
No worries.
This is the Nashville 2 Podcast with your host, Edward Fox.